If you are a man who feels that he has giant potential within himself, but has not yet learned how to channel his energy, I have prepared a powerful ebook that will show you how seminal retention can transform your mind, your body, and your destiny. The link is in the first pinned comment. If you think that the only function of semen is reproduction, you urgently need to review what you were taught. The truth is that there is a hidden power in this that so many waste without thinking. A power that was known, practiced, and protected by sages, warriors, mystics, and even silent billionaires. And no, this isn't mystical talk. It's an ancient secret that the modern world does everything it can to keep buried beneath addictions and distractions. While most men lose energy day after day, believing it is natural or healthy, some have discovered how to transform that same drive into mental clarity, personal magnetism, and unwavering will. Have you ever thought about being able to get out of bed with purpose? Work with real focus? Feeling connected with the creator of the universe while your mind leads you towards prosperity? Yes, this is possible, and it's simpler than it seems. What you will discover here is not theory from a self-help book. It's a map. A path that has already been taken by historical figures who left gigantic legacies, and that you can also follow if you are ready to stop being commanded by your instincts and start commanding your own energy. But be careful. Once you know this, you won't be able to pretend you don't know, because what is about to be revealed has the power to transform everything. Your mind, your body, your energy, and your destiny. Many geniuses in history, from poets to philosophers, had something in common: celibacy. Not by chance, but by choice. They realized that constant contact with sexual desire scattered the mind. Have you ever noticed how, after giving in to temptation, you lose focus and enthusiasm? These masters knew that by preserving sexual energy, they were actually preserving their inner gold. And this is not mystical talk. It is an ancient strategy to generate prosperity. Plato talked about this. Newton lived like this. Nikola Tesla too. It's no coincidence. These men channeled what many waste and transformed it into ideas, inventions, words that changed the world. They understood that the retention of vital energy is not a repression, it is a refinement. And when the body aligns with the purpose, the creator of the universe begins to open paths that previously seemed invisible. And why does this work? Because there is a real energetic cost to indulging in unbridled pleasure. Every time a man ejaculates without purpose, he loses more than fluid. He loses clarity, decision-making power, and even personal magnetism. Celibacy does not mean denial of pleasure, but control over it. It's like a warrior who doesn't waste his sword in any battle. He saves his strength for when it really matters. To apply this, start with simple goals. A week without porn. Then extend. Use this time to read works like Meditations by Marcus Aurelius or The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Both masters of self-control and strategic vision. Little by little, you will notice that your mind expands, your emotions stabilize, and your ideas gain power. This is where the magic happens. When you begin to master your impulses, your vital energy accumulates. And she needs to go somewhere. Some begin to write like never before. Others create businesses. Some go back to studying. All this because they redirected what was previously wasted. And then, without realizing it, the next step begins to take shape. Most people don't even realize that they carry true spiritual fuel within themselves. This vital energy, often ignored or wasted, is like an invisible force that can nourish not only the body, but especially the mind. When a man chooses retention, he is, in effect, accumulating an inner electricity that begins to rise. And the highlight of this journey, the brain. This is where the transformation begins to take shape. Imagine this energy as a river of spiritual fire, which instead of flowing out, rises like hot steam, energizing every layer of your being. The nervous system lights up, intuition intensifies, and reasoning becomes sharper. Have you ever noticed how monks and yogis exude a firm yet powerful peace? It's not magic. It is inner science. They preserve what many waste, and that's why they shine from the inside out. Want a practical example? That student who seems to learn 3 times faster, or the entrepreneur who can make good decisions even under pressure. They may not talk about it openly, but many practice this silent self-control. Saving sexual energy, in this context, is like keeping the fire burning on the inner altar. It warms the mind, illuminates ideas, and activates creativity on an almost superhuman level. And this energy needs to be conducted. Daily meditation, sincere prayer, deep breathing exercises, all of these create channels through which this force rises. A man who only holds but does not channel may feel restlessness or anxiety. But he who directs this force with intention becomes almost unbeatable. It is as if he had made a pact with the creator of the universe himself, asking for clarity, focus, and prosperity. And that's when the journey begins to change levels. Because when the brain is full of vital energy, ideas flow, insights emerge, and personal magnetism increases. You get into a different tune, and everything around you starts to respond. But this tune requires a mind free from distractions. Everything I'm sharing here, about mental clarity, focus, inner transformation, and prosperity, is much more detailed in my ebook, The Power of Semen Retention. There is a practical step-by-step guide for you to apply in your daily life and activate your vital energy in the right way. It's really worth having this in your hands. When the energy rises, the mind becomes silent. And in that silence, focus is born. Not that forced focus, which depends on caffeine or unattainable goals. But natural focus, the kind that comes from within, like a compass pointing in the right direction. It's as if the mind stopped being a battlefield and became a temple. A man who lives like this sees what others do not see, because while many are anesthetized by immediate pleasures, he is awake. This mental clarity is not theoretical. It reveals itself in small, everyday choices. You start saying no to distractions that previously seemed irresistible. Cell phone notifications lose their power. Procrastination becomes a thing of the past. It's as if your conscience is finally at the wheel. And the most curious thing, you start to see opportunities where before you only saw problems. It's like exchanging a cloudy lens for an eagle's vision. Want a direct example? You know that moment when you have to make an important decision? Changing jobs, investing in something, leaving a toxic relationship? Most get confused. But the man who cultivates this internal energy makes decisions firmly. Not out of arrogance, but because he knows what he's doing. He feels. And when you feel clearly, doubt doesn't scream so loud anymore. But this clarity is not born by chance. It comes from a mind that has learned to say enough to excesses. By avoiding the constant consumption of stimuli, such as pornography, junk food, noise, and social media, the brain begins to breathe. And when he breathes, he thinks. And when he thinks, he creates. The creator of the universe manifests itself most intensely in clear minds and aligned hearts. And that is what attracts true prosperity. And the mind, now cleaner and more attentive, begins to realize something that few realize. We live in a world that sabotages this clarity all the time. And that's where the next point of our journey comes in. We live in the age of industrialized distraction. Every notification on your cell phone, every short video, every easy click is a presence thief. Time seems to slip through your fingers, and the mind lives at war. When vital energy is not conserved, it spreads in 1,000 directions, and none of them leads to the center. Modern man has become a digital zombie. He wakes up tired, he's anxious, and he doesn't even know why. But the cause is there, before our eyes, screaming in silence. It's easy to see the impact of this. Just watch someone who lives immersed in the addiction-inattention cycle. He starts 1,000 projects, but finishes none. Jump from video to video, without absorbing anything. Buy courses, but never apply. And the saddest thing? He believes that he is the problem, when in fact, it is the environment that is consuming him. Without preserving energy, the brain has no fuel to think, reflect, much less create. Do you know the antidote? Back to the essentials. Create small zones of silence in the day, where nothing calls you, nothing demands you. A moment of deep reading, like a chapter in a book who thinks gets rich, it can be worth more than hours in front of a screen. A walk without a cell phone can restore your soul. A cold shower, a real prayer, a notebook, all of this reconnects you with your essence. And this is revolutionary today. Most still don't realize that this constant distraction is a strategy. The modern world wants your fragile attention and wasted energy. Why? Because a distracted man doesn't create. It consumes. And whoever consumes, obeys. So when someone chooses retention, they're not just taking care of their body, they're challenging the system. It's saying, I'm no longer a product, I'm a creator. And that changes everything. But to be able to maintain this posture in the midst of modern chaos, it takes more than discipline. It takes vision. A vision of what you can become when this energy is channeled well. And it is about this inner transformation, this rebirth, that the next part will talk about. The real revolution starts from within. When a man decides to preserve his energy, he begins a deep polishing process. Little by little, what was once an impulse turns into a will. Desire becomes purpose. Weakness gives way to firmness. It is no exaggeration to say that retention has the power to change not only habits, but character itself. Men start to look at themselves in the mirror with more respect. And this respect begins to shape everything around him. This is where a new type of strength emerges. No longer the strength of the body, but the strength of the spirit. He is no longer an easy sell. You no longer bow to the desires of the moment. You start to choose more consciously. Your friends, your surroundings, the content you consume. The mind, once a hostage of the external world, becomes the leader of its own destiny. And when this inner leadership is born, the creator of the universe smiles. Because now, there is an open channel for the manifestation of true prosperity. You already understand the power you carry within yourself. Now it's time to act. Click on the first pinned comment, secure your ebook, and start changing your energy, your purpose, and your life today. Transformations like this are not subtle. They impact relationships, work, the way we look at life. Many report that as they practiced retention, they began to be viewed with more respect, without changing a single word. It is silent magnetism. Energy changes, and everything changes. And the best part, it's not something that needs to be proven with words. It makes sense. Whoever is close feels it. Whoever observes, recognizes. And the world begins to react differently. A man transformed inside becomes a fortress. He stops being pushed by circumstances and starts creating his own. Procrastination loses ground. The mind creates goals, but now with roots. And when challenges arise, he doesn't run, he faces them, because he knows he has reserves of strength within him. Retention is not just a technique. It is a bridge to a new identity. A more mature, aligned identity, guided by something greater. But this process, like everything valuable, requires constancy. It requires vigilance. Because the old me always tries to come back. And that's where a crucial point comes in. How to keep that energy high even on difficult days. How to protect this new self from the temptations that still surround the path. If you've made it this far, you're no longer the same. Now you carry knowledge that few have, and even fewer apply. The question that remains is, will you continue living automatically, wasting your strength, or will you take control of your energy and transform your reality from the inside out? Think about it. How many moments in your life were marked by a lack of focus, discouragement, or impulsive decisions? How many opportunities have you missed because your mind wasn't sharp and your spirit was not aligned? Isn't this vital energy, which the world taught you to ignore, the missing link between who you are today and who you were born to be? Now that you know the power of seminal retention, what are you going to do with it? Will you keep this knowledge stored, or will you become a living example of discipline, presence, and prosperity guided by the creator of the universe? The choice is yours. But remember, big changes start with small daily commitments. So tell me here in the comments, what was the biggest insight you gained from this content? What will you start applying today? Your answer may inspire others who are also seeking awakening. And of course, if this content made sense to you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell. This way you continue to receive content that will elevate your mind, your energy, and your spiritual journey. Let's grow together, for real.